What's going on, everyone? You're listening to Bull Central here. Hope you're all doing well. Before I get into today's video, just wanted to remind everyone that I am hosting another giveaway for a $50 gift card to the NBAstore.com. I mentioned this in one of my prior videos, so to enter into the giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel. You don't have to provide any personal information, and if you've already subscribed, you're already included in the drawing. There's nothing more you have to do. I'll be leaving the drawing open until I hit 2,000 subscribers, which is still a ways away. At the time of this recording, we're just a little under 1,700, so plenty of time for you to get entered. Just something I like to do to make this channel a little more fun and give back to my subscribers. As I've said before, don't send me any money. I feel weird accepting money for just talking about basketball, just a hobby of mine. So, I don't do the whole Patreon thing or membership pages. I just enjoy talking Bulls basketball and making videos. With that said, what I wanted to touch on in today's video are some quick updates on the Bulls as it pertains to their game tomorrow against the Pacers. In addition, if you caught my last video on Coby White discussing Casey Johnson's article on whether Coby was indeed a point guard, and I asked in the video as well as in a poll I posted on my channel's community page on if you guys thought Coby was a better fit or better suited to be a point guard or a shooting guard. And I was a bit surprised by the results, actually, because it was fairly resounding response that he would be best suited as a shooting guard. You can see that in over 433 votes from the poll, 69% of you felt he was best as a shooting guard. Now, I expected that the two guard would likely be the winning response, but I assumed it would be much closer than the margin we saw from the poll. Now, it probably wasn't the best time to ask this type of question, given that it came after one of Coby's worst performances and it was starting off the season in the new starting role. But I guess it is, in a way, telling that a lot of people think he is better suited to be a shooting guard. And at the end of the day, I am still pulling for him to find his way as the team's floor general and starting point guard, because I do think that, if he can learn the position well but still maintain his strong ability to score, him and Zach LaVine could be a deadly backcourt. And my hope is the front office doesn't get into a position where they realize Coby isn't going to work out as the team's starting point guard and leader, and then they have to choose between him and Zach LaVine for the future. The other thing that I thought was interesting that came about from the video was the number of comments of people calling out Wendell Carter Jr. That he's more of the problem than anything, and that he's the weakest link on the team in all of this. And why are we faulting Coby White for having one bad game, or placing all of our attention on Coby White? And well, fair, but just to be clear, that video was a topic on Coby White specifically, so that's why he was being addressed. And yes, I am concerned about the overall play and production of Wendell. I said this in my preseason videos, and I didn't want to get too ahead of myself because, again, it was just the preseason. But yes, I agree with you guys. Wendell just hasn't looked engaged. He hasn't been playing aggressively at all on either end of the floor. I mean, he's essentially supposed to be our best defender, and he has just been a non-factor, even on defense. Wendell even apologized to his teammates after the game against the Hawks, which in a way I actually appreciated because, at least he's acknowledging that he needs to be stepping up his game. In his quote to the media, he said, "I just didn't show effort. I felt myself just being a step slow. I felt myself just worrying about the wrong things," end quote. And I do think that likely, this is Wendell's biggest issue. He does sometimes let the game get to him mentally. I mean, we saw that in his first two seasons where he committed a lot of unnecessary fouls out of frustration. So I think the biggest thing for Wendell is he just needs to tune all of that out, let the game come to him, and not read into things too much, and just play his best with effort every night. And really gotta have him focus on the defense, because that is what he's best at, and that's what the Bulls really need right now. I'm not as concerned about him paying so much attention to his offensive game, although I would like for it to improve. We just really need him to perform at the highest level possible on defense, because the Bulls just don't have a ton of defenders. In training camp, Wendell kept saying, you're going to see a different Wendell this year. And yeah, so far we have seen a different Wendell, a guy who hasn't been playing aggressively, and just seems to have lost his overall confidence. Again, when it comes to Bulls players, obviously I always hope they can turn things around. As a Bulls fan, I'm always pulling for the players on the team, so Wendell is no different, but at least with what we've seen so far, you can't be too happy if you're a Bulls fan, at least from what we've seen from Wendell. Now, I'll likely do a pregame video before the game against the Pacers tomorrow, so I won't go into too many details here leading up to the game, but by all indications now, it appears Thad Young will still be out of the lineup from his left leg injury. You probably noticed that although Satoransky, Garrett Temple, and Valentine, they were all available for the season opener, there was a quote from Billy Donovan that the players expressed they weren't quite ready physically to come back onto the court, and that's why we didn't see them play any minutes in that game. It sounds like these guys should be getting some limited time in this upcoming matchup against the Pacers, which will be good to see, especially Satoransky, because one of the things he does well is control the floor and facilitate in getting players involved, and that's just not something the team had in that first game against the Hawks. I haven't heard any updates on the Pacers injury report, so I'll share more of that in the pregame video leading up to the game so we can get a better understanding of seeing what the matchups will look like against the players. If you saw my week 1 preview video of the Bulls game for this upcoming week, you'll saw that I had the Bulls losing this game, but I also had them winning the season opener, and we all know how that turned out. Hopefully the Bulls can pull out a W and move to 1-1 on the season. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on Wendell Carter Jr. Is it too early to start getting worried? Should we give him a chance until we have a few weeks of the season underway? Let me know in the comments, and as always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I post daily Bulls content if that interests you, and I will catch you guys in the next one.